You see this? Scary, right? What if I told you one of these have been inside you all along? Part of the War for Cybertron trilogy, each mainline chapter seems to have a certain reoccurring theme for a few figures of the line that integrates with other figures, disassembling mostly from 5mm ports and reassembling to make weapons or alternate forms. Yes, it's parts forming. That's the gimmick. Moving on. In Siege, it was the weaponizers mostly based on the characters from the Titans. In Earthrise, it was the modulator bases that also used ramp connections and work with Micromasters. With Kingdom's Beast theme, we've got Fossilizers. I mean, okay, but that's weird. Some assembly required, looking more like a museum gift shop model kit. The Fossilizers separate in a similar fashion and can combine, change, or be added to mainline figures as armor or weapons. I've noticed the beastie figures don't always carry the right portholes, but if you want your planes, trains, and automobiles to dress for the occasion, here's the figure for you. Seems like the Predacons get the good stuff, as the only Fossilizer so far that doesn't carry the symbol is Transmutate if she feels like it. And don't try this with Vertebrae, she doesn't carry the same gimmick, she's just bony anyways. You get leg bones, more leg bones with claws, a tail that hides in the cardboard insert, watch out, a midsection, torso blade, this armor piece with the Predacon symbol, thigh rib cage, a dino head, and I know this is based on the mace of Optimus Primal, but it looks like it scares away demons. The instructions offer a few configurations, with this setup being the first. Although nameless, if we go by previous Siege forms, I think this could be considered the defensive loadout. This includes a shield stored on the side, the head in the hand for safekeeping, a battle axe with the torso used as the blade, the dino head on the arm because that's awesome, and the incredibly creepy bony arms sticking straight out of the back. Just a head swap from Siren Head. The second recommendation is well referred to as the offensive loadout seems to shift things around a bit. Giving him these weird shoes, a change with the weapon making it even more massive, and gunners on the back. The shield still stays the same. I'm not sure how reliant the feet are, but there's another foot tilt and there's hidden pegs. Also, I've noticed the peg on the head is loose, so watch out that it doesn't wobble around. But I mean, a dino skull as the hilt of a weapon, that's selling it. Paleotrex combined forms an Idocarosaurus Rex. Look, I'm not sure about the specifics of dinosaurs. All I know is Jurassic Park is cool, this is a fossil, and it looks similar to a T-Rex. If I didn't bother looking it up, it probably means I don't care. Yeah, it is incredibly strange for a robot to take the form of something like this. Forget the lack of muscles, I'm not sure what the purpose is. If I had to guess, maybe Dark Energon plays a part? We've already seen undead bots on the show. Who's to say Voodoo Purple Slurp doesn't make a comeback? I don't know, but Unicron's taking people's wallets. I like the damaged earthy tones of this light brown leading into a pretty dark brown with swirls of an in-between shade and fades being used like this has been underground for some time and has awakened. I think the lighter brush is the best use of it. Even with some of the obvious robot components, I think the shape does a pretty good job considering how thin it is. I guess it's because the focus of the design was centered around this form first, then working around it. I don't recommend keeping the legs straight. They look much more in tune with the body if you keep them bent. Tail has a few joints, mostly rotational, but the bulk is still straight. Legs have good joints, even a double knee, ball joint in the arms, but the head is limited to an upward joint and jaw. I love the shape of the skull, it's so smooth, and the robot head behind it locks into place. Yeah, you can see it, but that's kinda creepy. Don't worry about the size too, he's pretty tall in this form, and with the big head, it comes across as a pretty savage beast. I even like the chest plate with the Predacon logo. Like I said, most of these are Predacons, but considering some of the original Predacons became Maximals, I think they needed the boost. I'm pretty impressed. I wasn't expecting a whole lot considering this is the character coming out of nowhere, introducing a hand-me-down gimmick no one really asked for. But it's actually a pretty decent beast form. Well, part of a beast. Robot mode. It really doesn't matter if you think it's good or bad, but I have to say it, this thing is weird. I mean, that doesn't have to be a flaw. I like the weird stuff, but it's crazy in design. I knew what I bought and was still surprised by him. I mean, how ordinary is it that a robot takes the form of the innards of an extinct lizard? But it's not just that, the proportions are weird. He's got thin legs with stubby toes and thick thighs and massively long arms, one using the blade as a shoulder, and both with huge claws. I'm already creeped out. He's made out of bones. Now I gotta worry about him reaching and swiping for the cookie jar. Make sure the pins and mushroom joints are on the inside. Speaking of this, they seem a tad loose. Mine popped out as I took it out of the package. If you're worried about twisting the arm because you don't trust the joints, there's an extra rotational joint above the elbow. The torso is shielded, and I need to say this, there's a dino skull on his back. He could keep the primal mace mask, even open it like a jaw, or flip it up to reveal another face inside. This is an interesting gimmick. Not sure if it was needed, but the eyes line up pretty well. Mouth is crazy, looking like he's got a face mask underneath a face mask. Did someone say, articulation? Head up and down, rotation, shoulders forward and back, out and in, rotation below, another rotation, elbow bend, wrist rotation, hinge, fingers, waist rotation, hips forward and back, out and in, rotation below, hinge knee, another rotation, and heels move. Posability is pretty good as long as you keep your attention to the feet. I've noticed if you don't push the heels slightly down, they won't be flat. And they're small as is. Also, you can tell the hips sort of locks into position. Let's take a look at the accessories. Other than the whole figure, he comes with a tail whip weapon. Gee, so original. You can tab it to the shoulder or plug it to the hand. This seems useless. I mean, look at the fingers. It's like giving Wolverine a butter knife or Anu a pocket knife. There's various ports and portholes that you can make use, so you can add more or reshape him completely, making for a very fun gimmick. Listen, if you're gonna do parts farming, make it have a reason to exist. I can make a tail weapon, extend the arm, or no arm because he pet the dog too hard. And when he's a stick, that's freaky. Bones are scary. Every time I eat chicken, I scream. I think if you attach the waist to Cheetor, that's just crazy. Bet you didn't expect Extendo Neck! I wasn't certain if I wanted to get this. Transformers have been shoving so many figures, a lot of which are hard to find, so he isn't the most needed figure. But what I will say is that once again, this gimmick made an enjoyable toy. I think you should give it a try. Just check it out and see if you like it. The gimmick might not be for everyone, but it can be nice to mess with. Make whatever you want from it, but even if you keep his regular form, Paleotrex is weird but awesome. He needs a sandwich though.